This is an original job briefing on October 11th, 2017. Station Heyman, circuits 1 and 2. Job location, the First Merchants Bank. Our logon name is going to be Stevens. Radio number 3443. Reason, show you guys around the vaults. County of Delaware. It's Delaware County, isn't it? Rescue protection to be used is going to be in-house crew. Nearest hospital is Ball Memorial Hospital on the corner of Tillotson and University. Rescue equipment to be used is Davit arm, rescue barricade, rescue harness. Primary voltage is 14.4 kV. Secondary is going to be 277/480. Special driving instructions is to drive carefully. There was fog this morning and a little bit of rain on the way down here. Job scope is to be giving you guys a tour of our equipment. Crew complement is what you see. Work zones, we have cones placed, we have our davit arm placed, we have our barricade and everything to keep everybody out of our work zones. Suspended loads, we might be lowering that flashlight down, so don't stand underneath the manhole cover or opening. Climbing the ladder, always have 3 points of contact when you're going down and coming up. And work will involve entry to an enclosed space, so we're going to be using our atmospheric testing and our thermal gun. Complacency and overconfidence. Just be careful down there. Don't be down like a bull in a china shop, you know. You can touch stuff, but don't be budging into stuff and knocking things loose. Qualified observer will be up top. Lines of fire. Everything's energized, but you can touch it. Hazards above, like I said, lowering down the flashlight. Our rescue, we'll have our harnesses on. Slips and trips. There might be parking blocks underneath the transformer, so don't let your feet clip that. Our layers of protection today will be our job briefing. We'll have our FR on, traffic cones, truck barricade, and our PPE last line of defense. Stretching was completed this morning, and there's not really any previous relevant experience for you guys because this is your first time going down into our hole. Job briefing is conducted by myself, crew leader, Jay White, qualified observer, B. Stevens, number 2, Ryan Slavic.
Just from a PPE standpoint, before we enter the work zone and get in the manhole, go ahead and make sure you have your hard hats and also safety glasses.
That's right. You got it, you got it. That's a lot of guys can do. It wears you out, but you know, something like both. You can do one hand. Go ahead and get them out of there.
How big is this one down there?
This one's 8 by 16.
So a little bit about why we're going to be doing the training and getting better relationships with the fire department is we found that in the past there's been some gaps, and the fire department itself don't know a lot about the electrical equipment that's underground and the work that we do in the downtown areas. So we want to bridge that gap and get everybody on the same page and understanding. If we would need to have a rescue done, that guys feel comfortable coming down there. They understand the equipment, they know the equipment, what it looks like, and just basically bridging a gap so that we can have a better relationship with the fire department. The hazards do exist. We mitigate all hazards to the best ability as possible. For instance, the reason that we would actually have the fire department on hand would be if one of our employees suffered an injury as far as a broken back, broken leg, and we're going to need guys, you know, lifted out of the manhole and held in position. The only other issue would be if we had a guy go down due to bad gases or something of that nature, we would have to have an oxygen tank and stuff, which you guys would carry, that would be able to go down and do the rescue perform that rescue for us. So the good thing would be that the fire department is trained in the first aid and the response, and they have better training than we would have, but we do have great training ourselves. So we are trained to do our own rescues, and just in the event that we would need the fire department would be unsafe air conditions and broken bones of that nature. Okay, so Ball Corp would be the furthest customer to the west. That's as far as that network is going to go there. And then our east point is going to be the First Merchant Bank, which is at the location we're at now. North and south, it runs pretty much from the substation, which is Heyman Substation, at Weiser and Jefferson. And the furthest point that's going to run to the south would be the Roberts Hotel.
Try to light up things as best you can.
First battery died on me.
Welcome.
So this is our primary. It's identified with the red stripe going on it. When they say brush contact, it means you can touch it and stuff. You're not gonna get shocked, but just don't be moving it all around, because then it'll stress the termination inside of this T. These are concentric drain wires. It's basically what catches all the electricity trying to get out, you know? Right. So it drains it to ground. This is what we call our high voltage switch. These we don't operate when the circuit's in. We mainly can only operate the protector when this is all hot, but yeah, we don't mess with this until we lock everything too, so in case you were to bump into it, it's not going to affect anything.
But if we have an emergency for some reason down here, do we need to disconnect that from there?
You shouldn't. No, if something were
Just
to
leave
happen,
the primary intact and don't worry about it.
yeah, you would never have to mess with any of this stuff. If it was an emergency to where primary had some sort of fault, it would open at the station. So, and then if there was a fault on this opens up, the protector would open up also, so it doesn't backfeed. That's the main feature of the protector, is to prevent backfeed. This is a crab. This is a common connection point from the protector side of the transformer, and the services, I believe, yeah, that's a service marked yellow going out, and these are all 277 480 also, like you were saying. So then this middle part, the big hunk that puts off all the heat, is the transformer. Like, you shouldn't have to mess with any of this stuff if you were to do a rescue or anything, because I think by that time we'd have that portion of it under control. But
The only time it's possible it wouldn't is if we had a compromised air environment down here.
Correct.
Where
Yeah.
your people couldn't enter to de-energize anything.
Right.
yeah, and then even at that, everything can be done remotely. So that's what you'll see, that box over here. That's our monitoring system. It's new within the last year. You can disconnect, or you can open up a protector remotely, and then these you can also open up remotely from DDC.
Oh, and that's pretty fast. Or
Yeah. You say drop circuit 1. This is H1, so drop Heyman 1. They'll drop Heyman 1
They
pretty
just
quick.
type something in and does it just like that.
Yeah,
there's
it's all
no-
through SCADA.
Okay, there's no process to go through or anything. You
No,
say kill it, it's
yeah.
done.
Right.
Mhm.
In an
Especially if there's
emergency,
an emergency.
yeah.
Right.
But yeah, rescuing someone down here, if there's no equipment failure, there's really no reason to ever have to even mess with it. Yeah. Everything can be fine and in a working order, and you can come down here and do your thing.
Even if it is live, as long as we weren't working on anything and exposing wire, like we were talking about that brush contact, I'm sure they brought up, everything's able to be touched, moved, even, I mean, this has electricity running through it right now, and you're good to go. As long as, I think the idea is that you guys would be helping us out in a bad air situation or a spinal injury. And those are just two situations we're not trained for, and we don't have. You guys have the little personal air packs, don't you, that you can bring down and stuff like that. So I think other than that, it's just making sure you guys are comfortable with the equipment, knowing that more or less nothing down here can hurt you unless you're really getting aggressive with it.
Yeah.
And then we could easily pull the grates off the top if we wanted to do a horizontal raise.
Yeah.
To where we can go horizontal.
They do just lift out.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's
little
eye
eyelets.
bolts.
You can just pop them out and they'll just lift right out. They just kind of sit along those edges. They just kind of sit down in their spot. They're very heavy though, so I don't know if you can do it by hand, but we've never done it. We always use a trout.
And we got a bunch of big kids. We have 6 firemen on our list.
But yeah, then we'll move to this then.
Spare the rocks though.
And this is the protector. This is what I was saying, was prevents back feed. One thing about a network is, say you cut this, it's going to be hot at both ends because it's basically it's a grid, so it's always going to be hot at both ends. So if if something were to happen and there was cable down here that was exposed, opening this wouldn't energize it. It just would prevent back feed on that part of the circuit. So. Not run down. And then everything coming off the top of this runs to the crack over there.
What's the red light here?
The red signals that this is closed. And then if it was open, it'd be green. So we just have these on spots. Because if both of these would be open, then the building would lose power. So like if we're going to be doing maintenance to this, we can look down in here and see this is red, that one's red, or so then we're good. We just want to do our thing, close it back in, and then we can have to lose power.
So the only way they would lose power is if they lost both of these.
Yep. And these are both on 2 separate circuits coming from Heyman. This will be Heyman 1, Heyman 2. So if you were to lose a feeder, they would still not experience any power loss.
Okay. So if they're without power, we've lost.
You lost Heyman 1 and Heyman 2, yeah. Yeah. Or something were to happen with these two.
Simultaneously, yeah.
Some sort of
Major anomaly.
Yeah.
How much water is in here for your water alarm to go off?
It'll go to the bottom of the protector door.
Here's the actual float for it.
Oh, okay.
Knee height about,
Yeah.
depending on how tall you are.
You don't have live video for this whole, you just have.
No.
Yeah, we just have
Instrument.
sensors. Yeah.
We have a lot of them now though with this new system they have installed.
Yeah, we have a air sensor just to show the ambient temperature of the vault. We have a fire sensor over there, over the crab, to show if this vault were to catch fire on the secondary side. We have temperature sensors on the transformer, an oil pressure sensor, and an oil level sensor. We have a pressure sensor on the inside of this because we put pressure on these so it doesn't leak. We have moisture sensor on the inside too, in case it is leaking. And then it'll read real-time load and stuff on this. It'll read, what else does it read?
Position of the protector if it's open or closed.
What the relay is, if it's in trip, close, or float. Basically, it tells you everything you'd ever need to know.
We can look at a
about it.
computer now and know just about everything you would want to know about the vault before we get into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Any questions?
So I think you guys got it covered. Like I said, as far as we're concerned, it's just a matter of access and then, what our means of egress would be with our patient. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
We know 99% of the time you're going to have your coworker out of here before we even get here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
I say, if you guys are averaging 3 minutes by the time they process the call and even get us started, you guys will have somebody coming out.
Is that your guys' protocol? Do you guys call 911 every time you start your rescue?
Yep. We require that we call 911 beforehand, and we actually have an emergency button on our radios in the trucks at all times where you basically push it. It shuts down everyone else's radio on that network, and DDC immediately would call. And they already have our information because we have to log on before we get in each hole, so they know exactly where we're at and they could call.
This one will be pretty easy, fellas.
Yeah, this one's not bad.
If they were all just like this, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, some of them aren't quite this nice. This isn't even that nice.
Catch fire, like dry chem, is that recommended?
I don't know. Probably, yeah. Maybe.
Obviously, it wouldn't
Probably.
blow a bunch of water on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if this thing caught fire, that's way beyond our scope of work.
Obviously, if it caught fire, I mean, you guys had fire sensors. I'm sure they would kill.
Oh yeah, they drop it immediately.
We'd start dropping stuff.
Yeah, this would be dropping.
At that point, that's something they'd be willing to take the city out of power for, probably.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, at that point, then all we're looking at is just throwing insulation on the wires.
Yep.
As long as it hasn't compromised the transformer and we have oil.
Right.
And I mean, really, so that our actual fire load outside of this transformer is very, very minimal.
Right.
Yeah.
And once you kill power and you kill a heat source.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yep.
Say, it wouldn't take too long to fill this whole thing with water.
What's that?
It wouldn't take too long to fill this whole thing with water.
Drop a 5-inch and then we'll walk behind
Turn it on and watch.
Yeah, all this stuff's submersible too, so.
Right.
We actually.
Well, if you had a fire down here, then obviously your insulation and stuff's going to be compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so we're going to have bare wire. I mean, we're going to have, it's not going to be
Right.
full sealing quality.
Insulated. Yeah.
At that point, you know, but like I said, our fire loads, it's very, very minimal. I mean, it's just a matter of accessing the hole then, and honestly, probably extinguishers. And, you know, once the power's dead, obviously we can train a line down here and knock it down very quickly. Like I said, it's just outside of the oil would be the only thing. What type of oil are these filled with?
This is FR3, I believe. Some sort of synthetic oil.
And what else do we have? Silicone in some of them.
Mineral, silicone, FR3. Yep.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Good stuff.
We've been in much worse places than that.
That's creepy weird.
Is it after?
Hook coming down.
You're supposed to get out of all these rocks.
Yeah, you want me to?
Yeah.
Well, what'd you think? Understand the brush contact and all that, how everything's encased. Grab it.
Yeah, it's just good to see it, get familiar, and with the grades being able to lift them up, you know, in the right situation could be a big.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, being able to pull somebody out horizontally as opposed to vertically is going to definitely have some benefits. Now, granted, you wouldn't have that option in a typical manhole, which that structure there is just going to be your manhole, just open lid.
It's nice. I mean, it's eye-opening to see what goes on in these vault systems that AEP's put in, and the hazards to us, which are actually very limited, you know, and just to get the information from these guys as to what they're doing down there. So if we do catch an emergency, we can kind of start planning on our way here as to what we may encounter when we get here. Or something that we can do better at. The networking. How, regardless, I mean, we have power coming from both sides of any line, any disconnect we have. I mean, you know, you guys have that feature in place. You know, so that was not something that I had any, you know, idea about.
I didn't realize those things flooded either.
But they what?
That they flooded.
Yeah.
And that they can still manage to work.
Yeah.
It's also nice to see those overhead grates were removable. I figured they were.
Right, see that
Secured
with the
somehow.
old, there used to be like 2 huge concrete slabs, and that was it. So with those new ones, like you said, it'd be easy.
Those
just to
eye bolts
pick-
just pop up.
Yeah, you already have your bolts. Before we'd have to actually have bolts, stick them in the
Oh,
concrete.
yeah, that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Your emergency procedures and your winch that you have right there, ready to start a rescue.
Right.
Yeah, start a rescue, get somebody out.
somewhat comforting to know that we can touch stuff down there, but not really touch stuff.
Yeah,
It was comforting to see that.
That's one of those you first, isn't it? Woody?
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead. Rookie. So the guys in Fort Wayne, he said, okay, you touch it first. You go ahead. That one right there.
It's like the electric fence when you were a kid. Grab your buddy next to you.
yeah.
It was real nice to see all the monitoring that you guys have for down there and the remote disconnect capabilities for that, if we have a problem in one bolt.
Now those are cleaned out regularly, vacked out
Annually.
annually.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an annual thing.
Yeah, that's part of our maintenance program.
Okay.
Inspections, we test the equipment, make sure everything's working, clean the bolts.
Yeah, the new, hopefully to speed up things now, we have a vac trailer too, so that should hopefully. Normally we'd have to take barrels and bucket.
That's what he was saying, yeah, bucket
Yeah,
out. Okay.
so.
I
It's
had
just-
no idea that you had, 64 underground structures inside the city.
Yeah.
I mean, that was definitely an eye-opening.
You know, the city has, the sanitation department has the back trucks too.
Right.
In a situation where it might be needed, there's always that option of pull from the city's.
Do you have one close?
No, it's Fort
No.
Wayne.
Yeah.
We don't have one here in Muncie Station or anything.
Is there a mapping of that, of your 64 structures?
Yes,
Yeah. We can probably get you that.
Copy of that, that'd be great.
That might be an action item.
It's nice to know that you guys all have harnesses on all the time now too.
Yep.
I think that's speeded up a rescue situation tremendously.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are hesitant at first with that because it's it's something new, it's something you never had to wear. But I mean, as lightweight as they are.
So they didn't seem too bulky or anything for you guys.
No.
Well, that's
And
always in our pre-plan for a recovery or a rescue is we take that second harness
Right.
with us to,
Yeah.
for that. But knowing going in, if that's a situation where we're there to help, we know that, so that's one less piece of equipment we have to carry.
Right.
So,
And then, like we talked about earlier, there's how much it saved time-wise as far as our rescues.
yeah.
That's been neat to see from last year and then this year's times how different they were.
And you guys have a number system on your grid and your vaults?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they numbered exterior or just for
No,
your
I
first-
think you
okay.
probably saw it on that ladder if you looked when you climbed and it had like 594 or whatever it was.
Okay, so it's just all internal numbering. Okay.
Yeah.
Or spray painted on the walls down
On the
there.
walls,
We
okay.
usually spray paint.
Did you guys touch base with them at all, our login procedures with DDC?
He called them, but I don't think they kind of ran through what we do. So anytime we go in, a vault or a manhole, we have to call in ahead before we go in, log in, give them an address or intersection, where we're at, and what type of work we're doing. So, anytime we change location, you update them where
Update
you're
them,
going
okay.
next. Yeah.
And we got an emergency button in our trucks where you hit that emergency button, it closes off all radio communication except from them to the DDC.
When a situation happens, who's going to contact us? DDC?
It'll be through our DDC.
And they will send us, in theory, we will get all that information also.
Yes, sir.
How many's in, how far in,
Location.
and location.
Do they dispatch automatically if you hit the emergency button, or does that just lock out the radios so that you have
I think
priority
it locks
traffic?
out so so no one else can get on a call and interrupt you, or you'll get cut off.
And if we don't get all that information, obviously your entrant,
Yes.
that guy at the entrant would have all that information when we
Yeah.
arrived. So, okay.
Yep.
One of mine for this side is just your open to this training and continuously helping us get better. So that's what was exciting about it for me, is I get to work with people that do this stuff every day, and the fact that you guys are willing to be on board and they're like, yeah, let's figure this out. We want everybody to be safe. It's kind of cool to see both of our missions line up to make sure that these guys go home at the end of the day.
And it's nice for us to know if we have a list of your vaults, and your manholes, what we're looking at. I mean, as far as
options for egress. Like obviously these down here, we could pull those grates up and we really don't have a confined space anymore.
Right.
You know, at that point, I know that's why you guys, you know, it's classified as an enclosed space with you guys. But obviously some of your vaults, some of your manholes, there's one way in, one way out regardless. You know, and there may be some other hazards in there, you know, that would be nice for us to know. You know, such as if you had some type of ladders that were compromised and, you know, that we would definitely want to use our own ground ladders, you know, to make entry and things like that would definitely be helpful for us in a situation where we were needed.